Lonnie, can you hear me?
Good afternoon.
Hey, Michelle, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Looks like Lonnie may have his speaker turned off, so he can't hear us.
Yes, he does.
We are live and we are also recording.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Michelle.
Hey, Lance.
Yes.
Hello.
Looks like Lonnie may have.
Oh, I need to change that. Can you hear me now, Lance?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay.
I've been calling out to you for the past 5.
My output was on, not my headset.
That's what I figured. Lance, can you hear? Oh, you can't hear us, I guess. So. Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
And that was not me speaking the second time. That was feedback.
No, that wasn't feedback. I have the live stream running. So
Oh, okay.
that's a bit of inception there.
Gotcha.
Hey, Michelle.
Hello.
In progress.
Hello, Ramu.
Hey, Lonnie. I'm going to mute unless I have to say something.
Good afternoon, Ken.
Hello, how are you today?
It's not Monday, or I should say it's further away from Monday. It's not as close as Friday, but
I always
Who-
tell them today is the second Monday.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that too.
Just a heads up, we are live streaming right now, so.
Understood. Thank you.
it's hard to break habits that I have in person. So thanks for that reminder. Sorry about that.
Good afternoon, Lonnie.
Hey, Hey, Gene, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Well, I'm getting better each day.
You okay?
I had a breakthrough case, as they call it.
Well, for crying out loud, take good care of yourself, man.
So I'm in my 15th or so day, so much better. But I may have a cough here or there in this meeting. I'm trying to drink coffee to help with that. And if I get stuck, Lance will be my backup.
Well, he's a fine gentleman and a scholar, so I think he could facilitate.
Good afternoon. Michelle, may you take our roll, please?
Absolutely. Mike Asude, Kenneth Bowe,
Present.
Beth Courtney or Clarence Copeland.
Clarence Copeland here on behalf of Beth Courtney.
Thank you. Dr. Gabriel Fabiaro. Gene Fields.
Present.
Paul Helton.
Here.
Richard Howes.
Here.
Lonnie Leger.
Here.
Brad Masters. Giovanni Petermont.
He won't be here today.
Okay, thank you. Ramu.
I'm here.
Ram. Eric Setz,
Here.
Singe, Dr. Rachel Finley, Craig Woolley,
Present.
Noel Wong,
Here.
and we have a quorum.
Sorry, this is Brad Masters. I was here. I was having some mic issues.
Okay,
Hopefully I
thank
got it.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Michelle.
And I'm sorry, Dr. Finley, and Matthew Labriere is here representing Board of Regents.
Okay, thank you so
Michelle,
much.
Based on the information I have, Micah Sude is no longer on the council. He has retired.
Okay.
So I don't know if we have a replacement for him. Lonnie?
No, we'll have to, Regents will have to submit a request to the system president for an appointment.
Okay. Given that we have quorum, I will call this meeting to order. Next item on the agenda, we will have the Secretary Treasurer report concerning the May 2021 minutes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I believe Michelle sent out February or March meeting minutes.
That's a typo. Thank you.
Yeah. Are there any comments or corrections? Hearing none, can we get a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
With the
We have a
motion
motion
and second, we have approval.
All right, thank you, Eric, for that. Again, that was the February 2021 minutes that were approved. Now we'll move on to chair's business. That would be me. Okay, so we have a couple of items to bring before the council today. The first item is concerning the executive committee that we discussed on at our last meeting. Last meeting, I placed a motion on the floor. We had volunteers to serve on the executive committee concerning the LONI subscriber email, LONI subscriber document, pardon me. Given some administrative changes in the Board of Regents and other items that had to be updated, we are looking to adjust that prior motion in favor of calling a special meeting with our general body concerning the document that has now been sent out to you all for review. So the motion that I would like to present to the council is that we have call a special meeting, the date listed in front of you, Monday, September 13th from 1:30 to 2:30, at which time each of our respective members, we ask that you invite your campus IT leadership to participate in the meeting in order that we may collectively review the subscriber agreement. Again, that was sent out to all of you for review by LONI Legere. So in presenting this motion, I would need a second and then approval from the committee if there be no discussion.
I second the motion.
It's moved and seconded. Do we have any discussion on the motion? Okay, being no
Rachel, the only comment I'd like to make is that more so from what I've been hearing around the table of the management council, it may be important to not only invite the IT leadership, but a lot of the compliance people and let them kind of reach out to the relative compliance folks on their campus who can give a more holistic view, of the impact of the agreement, if that makes sense. I don't think it requires a rewording or anything. It says campus IT leadership, and I think empowering them in the invite to invite their compliance people or whoever may add value to the discussion.
Okay. Thank you for those comments, and we will definitely include that for our membership to please include that information with your IT professionals as well as your compliance personnel to be a part of this meeting, as it is important that we move this document forward. Thank you for your comments, Eugene. All right, we have a motion, a second. We may now call the vote. All those in favor of holding a special meeting on Monday, September 13th, beginning at 1:30, concerning the subscriber membership agreement, at which time we ask everyone to invite their campus IT leaderships and relevant compliance personnel. All in favor of this motion, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Do we have any abstaining from the vote? Thank you for your participation. The ayes have it, and our motion carries. Thank you. Next item up for discussion. As we recall in our prior round of officer nominations, prior to those nominations, we made adjustments to our bylaws to include the position of chair-elect. In doing so, we, at that time, presented our nomination committee, presented nominations for chair and chair-elect and secretary treasurer for 1-year terms. We are coming to the close of those 1-year terms, so now we are activating again our nominations committee for the positions of chair-elect and secretary treasurer. And those positions will serve, chair-elect will serve 1 term and then move into the chair position, and the secretary treasurer will serve for a time of 2 terms. So our nomination committees will be reaching out to our LONI membership to request your approval to be nominated for service as a LONI Management Council officer. We anticipate that these nominations will be presented to the committee, or excuse me, to the Management Council at our November meeting. So again, as our nomination committee, Eugene and Ram, reach out to you, please be responsive to their request in service to the LONI Management Council. Thank you.
Chair, Miss Finley, we had our to appointed times in our agenda. We need to consider what public comment we might receive from our comment line. So I'd ask Lance if are there any comments for us to consider at this point?
There are no public comments as of yet.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next item, we will turn the meeting over to our Executive Director, Lonnie Legere.
Thank you, Dr. Finley. Well, I was hoping for a much improved environment in relating to the pandemic, but we find ourselves being virtual again. We can only hope that by November, we've got a much improved path forward for our society, the state, and our respective communities. So I again look forward to the opportunity in our November meeting to be in person. As you see before you, this kind of a breakdown of our agenda. It's going to go pretty fast. And of course, you're welcome to ask questions as we move forward. So the first thing is in the work plan update for 2021, probably the biggest thing that we've been engaged with is getting prepared for the rural healthcare program. For your information, we've got 19 subscribers who submitted their letter of intent. And we're in the process. It's underway for the first year filing. You should be aware that these 19 will be contacted between now and the end of the month, if they've not had already been done so. They are preparing their communications to start asking the relevant questions and documentations that are going to be necessary to establish the submission for eligibility. So that is underway. And just to remind everyone, we're looking forward for an opportunity for this program to offer a 65% or up to a 65% reimbursement on your LONI subscription fee, your WAN circuits, and other eligible expenses that we will, as we've communicated, learn over time how to maximize the effectiveness of the program for our institutions. And in the news and events section, just want to kind of broadly remind the community and those of our listening audience that have joined us live on YouTube. We hosted many of opportunities for us to gather the community together. The first one will be this Friday, as it occurs every time after the management meeting on Tuesdays. We'll have a Friday wrap-up call with the community at large, an opportunity for us to communicate in a large perspective viewpoint of what's happening, and also include any relevant updates that the council makes as a motion in any way, shape, or form, making sure that the broadest community opportunity that we have to let them be informed. And again, we've continuing our series after the COVID experience that we did for weekly calls. Now we're doing a monthly, community-wide trending topics call that's open to everyone. We regularly host our working groups, conversations on network services and network security. And the reminder that there is a lot of information and dialogue that takes place via Slack. That some of our, as I think Gene coins it, our demand, communications. We use it for incidents. It's a repository for what conversations are being had, either spur of the moment or just spur on topic, whether it's just a topic of interest, whether it's the result of a meeting, as today's announcement of meeting took place. We had announced that via Slack. So we do announcements, catch-ups. I recently posted, just an update to the state's efforts to do broadband testing and represent that impact of testing and that experience across the state of Louisiana. So, but just general information and as well as specific information is hosted there. So just reminding you that those efforts are broadly taking place on a regular basis to keep your practitioners as well as the executives within their organization at different levels engaged, without necessarily having a new email that has to be viewed, looked, filtered, saved, or responded to. In the update, as the chair carried out their business in the motion, we shared the progress of that document, and with the help of the content from and participation from executive legal input from the Board of Regents and the Regent staff as well. We made that available this morning and published that. So we look forward to a focused and earnest conversation about the agreement. I hope that the introduction email and the preamble to it was beneficial and would be beneficial as you understand it and distributed among your institutions that you represent, as well as the governance of your institution and how it might play a part in reviewing that document. In the strategic business plan update, here recently, over the past, I think, month or so, the Board of Regents did express their viewpoint and charged us with the staff of developing and drafting a strategic plan. It will be followed up by reviews of numerous stakeholders, and they're listed here. That's going to be something that we'll probably start in earnest here in a couple of weeks as we wrap up this meeting, our meeting in September, getting other documents that are usually a part of our activities in the early fall timeframe. So we'll be looking at that earnestly and have hopefully, if not a good update by November, but especially as we look for the February meeting in 2022. And the next thing is, how are we progressing as a community, as an ecosystem in our invoice for FY22? Approximately about halfway there already, which I'm very grateful for. So as you have opportunity to look at your institutions, asking us questions or participating in them. We don't expect or anticipate any issue, but we are looking for a deadline of those invoices being paid by the end of September. And halfway there, it looks really promising that we are on track to meet that deadline. So as a result, we're planning for FY23. Everyone knows what the formula is, so will be no surprise, is that we're just planning to release those at the conclusion of the Management Council meeting on September 13th. It'd be premature, we thought, to release that ahead of time, so that we'll be doing that, following the conclusion of that meeting. As an update to our platform, we've received the bulk of the Infinera equipment for our optical backbone. We're now in the detailed planning of deploying a parallel network of what we have today, so that we can transition services hopefully in about a 3-month window. We've executed amendments to allow us to get access to additional fiber strands between Shreveport and Lafayette to stand up this parallel network and get it operational and get it fully functional, so that we can migrate services with the least amount of impact to any of those services. We anticipate receiving the bulk of the Cisco router equipment by the end of September. This class of equipment has been most impacted by the semiconductor shortage worldwide. And this is probably not news to you as you're dealing with in the IT world of how it's affected other sorts of products that our community uses. And I personally am anticipating that our phase 3 fiber construction bid would be released in the next few weeks. We've had some health impacts associated with that release, but it's quite significant. It's quite large as we look at the potential of taking in any external funding assistance through the federal infrastructure investments that might have relations to broadband opportunities. So it's a pretty significant and broad bid that covers many territory, many cities, many routes, including again trying to see what outcome we could direct through participation with the city of New Orleans even. So it's as comprehensive as we can make it given the information we understand at the time. Sam White should be here on the call. You should have received his technical report. Sam, you're free to make any comment or point anything out that you think is relevant and answer any of the questions the council members might have.
Okay, yeah, I'm here. Three things that have happened recently on the LONI clusters. Of course, as we upgraded to REL 7, that went successfully. We migrated our old QB2 cluster to the QB3 storage, which has worked out and been successful. And we also got an upgrade to the UPS to extend its life, and that also is now up and running successfully. So those are the three things that have gone on in HPC recently.
All right, thank you for that. Any questions for Sam and his update? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the network update. Gary Mumphrey should be available to point out anything that he thinks is worth noting, and as well as being available to answer any questions you might have.
Yeah, thanks, Lonnie. The main thing is that we're, like Lonnie said, receiving equipment for the new network refresh, and we've been planning and making preparations. Everything is underway. So as soon as the Cisco gear gets here, we'll be ready to go. So if you have questions about that or any of the other items that were in the update, please let me know. I'll be here through the entire call. So if you don't have questions now, but you think of something, I can answer them at the end.
Thank you.
Yeah, Gary is Noel from Turing. Can you share the future design that you're doing with the refresh? Because we are doing a similar thing in the data center. We just want to collaborate on that.
Does the network topology you mean, or
network topology architecture?
Sure. We can. You want me to do that on the call, or you want actual document?
No, just shoot me an email, and then we can start from there.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have some emerging approaches that Internet 2 is deploying on their next generation infrastructure that we hope to do equivalently on our side. Maybe not to the same scale, obviously, but that is something that we're looking to do as well, as far as some of the technologies that we would use that might be considered more under the covers or under the hood per se, but we believe that would make our jobs of delivering services much easier and more timely. Thank you, Gary. Oh, another opportunity. Consider what, if any, public comments we've received. Lance, have we?
No public comment at this time.
Okay, thank you, sir. Moving on, Dr. Finley, we move into the area where we start receiving our chief advisory reports and our recommendations. I understand we've got a few of them here, so we should be able to hear from them. First up is Ram. I didn't hear his name respond to the roll call, so I don't know if he was a late add-in or not. No, Lance shaking his head. All right, so we'll move on. I know Gene's here. So Gene, you have the floor, sir,
Thank
or the
you.
mic, as it would.
Thank you, Lonnie. I don't have much to say, but I do want to make a positive comment on Sam and his team with the HPC. You guys have started sharing the utilization data, and I find that very refreshing. And the data really tells a good story about our investment there. So kudos to Sam and his team, and Lonnie, your leadership, and as well as this council. So I want to pat everybody on the back about that. I want to mention the working groups, and we say this. It almost sounds like a broken record, but the working groups are just a wonderful consortia of all of our peers getting together, sharing comments, sharing ideas, questions, etc. And I think Lance has put together a little bit of data on participation. It's pretty incredible. There are some institutions that have not made themselves known yet, but I want to formally invite them through this venue here to participate. I think they'll get as much out of it as the rest of the institutions that do participate. There's a lot of good stuff that happens in there, not just in the security group and the INTAG, but also the emerging issues group. I find to be really exciting conversation and intriguing. And it touches on a lot of things that we deal with each and every day. Lance, you have some data you'd like to share with the group?
Absolutely. Thank you, Gene. So I always like to take the opportunity to highlight, the people that represent you in these meetings and these conversations, especially our leadership, again, elected by our peers across the state. So Josh Young from Sewella and Heath Fitz from Northwestern are both our co-chairs for the Network Technical Advisory Group. And then we have Jonathan Cockrell from LSUS and Charles Broom from ULL co-chairing our security working group. And since our last meeting, some of the topics that they've been talking about, they have brought in a couple of outside folks to have some conversations. So we had somebody from Fortinet talking about the Fortinac solution. We did have somebody from the Fusion Center. So LA Safe, the Louisiana State Analytical and Fusion Center, came and talked to the security working group about some of the resources available there. Very robust conversations. And then some of the other things that came up of interest of late, we talked a lot about SOC services. We also had Palo Alto come in and talk about zero trust as a way to approach things. Nichols actually did a little show and tell on their implementation of Ring Central for their campuses, and that was a very healthy conversation. We talked about managing LTE networks on our campuses. And then also one of the things that Gene helped lead to participate in one of the other calls was something the UL system is doing, and that's basically the cybersecurity self-survey initiative on kind of doing an assessment of where you are in terms of your risk and mitigating your risk and your ability to respond. So a lot of great information is being shared. We strongly encourage you to participate because ultimately these working groups are where the rubber meets the road. And that is truly what is helping and driving as a value in helping each other to get over the things that we do on a day-to-day basis. So we strongly encourage your participation. And if you ever have questions, by all means, reach out to us and we will help get the right people plugged in the right places.
Thank you, Lance. That is awesome. And again, I want to encourage anybody that's a CIO that sits on this management council to encourage your teams to, if they already participate, to continue to participate. And for those who have not yet had the opportunity to participate, the door never closes. It's always open. And we want everybody to feel free to join. We've had, like I said, very robust conversations, and there's a multitude. I mean, we're talking 20, 30 people on some of them, in some cases even more, that participate on these calls, and they're really good. So I just want to continue to encourage participation because I think this is what a collaborative like Lonnie bring to the table for post-secondary education. That's about it, Lonnie.
Thank you, Gene. I'll put a plug in as well. I find it quite interesting how the working groups have kind of evolved to be if you would, an early warning system. And it's been really exciting as the participants have brought things that to the audience of the working groups and have really speared, conversations that are really, tip of spears of kind of activities. And whether it's a technology, whether it's a compliance, thing that is happening in cybersecurity space, or there's not a dialogue other than what is chatted within the Slack tool itself about similar activities. I'm quite excited to see how that emergence of kind of trust has been emerging over these years, and I'm very thankful for those that, like you mentioned, Gene, that 30 or so cohorts that really get it, and we're hoping to, encourage the others that are still yet on the fence about their participation to do so. Slack can be consumed at their pace, which is great. All they get to do is potentially casually participate because of their time constraints, but at least be aware of the conversations that are taking place and how any of those spur, a relevant follow-up from you on the matter. So great opportunity. Thanks for the update for both of you. Another final, I think, opportunity to look at our public comment line to see if we've had any since, Lance.
There's no public comment.
All right, thank you, sir. Moving right along. I know Paul was here. Paul, I apologize. I didn't reserve you a slide. I didn't know if you were actually going to be in attendance, but since you are, and since I heard you register for the roll call, would you please provide whatever comment you feel is appropriate, sir?
No worries, Lonnie. Thank you very much. However, I have nothing to report for this meeting.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Your attendance is always appreciated, and your support, of course, is very, very much as well. So old business, new business slide. I think the only thing that I have is really the confirmation and notation of our upcoming Monday meeting on the 13th. And as a reminder, on this next slide of what is our meeting schedule. It's amazing how much 2021 has rolled off this screen. I don't know if your sense of how things move, how quickly things have moved, but just thought you might find that of interest. I did when I put the slide together. I'm like, the year is literally almost over with. So I was just a takeaway that I had. I am done, Chair Dr. Finley. So I bring it back to you for your closure, and for the council members to close out the meeting or direct as necessary.
Okay, thank you so much, Lonnie. We are now at the point of departure. So we place before you a motion to adjourn if there's no additional discussion of agenda items.
I second the motion.
Who is seconding the motion?
Gene.
Gene, hi Gene, thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second. We thank you all for attending our August LONI Management Council meeting. We wish you a good day.
Thank you. Y'all be safe. Bye-bye.